Everybody, it's Felisa. It is a beautiful day in my neighborhood. I just got back from walking, so I apologize for the hot messiness. The one thing that I will say about this isolation and COVID, yeah, I just been fine with my flat face. And y'all get the benefit of my flat face. Anyway, let me give my disclaimer. My disclaimer is this: these are my ideas, my observations, and my rants. It may or may not resonate with you. I hope that it does. In the event that it doesn't, I hope that we can agree to have a respectful discourse in the comments. And, I would love to hear your viewpoint. I wasn't even going to do a video on the whole August Jada debacle, primarily because I didn't care. I just find it weird. Like, Americans have this weird fascination with celebrity and celebrity life. Like, I've always found that weird. I find it problematic to deify people to the extent that we put them on these pedals and expect more of them than we do average people. I don't know why we do that. I don't know if it's because of the money or because, there are heroes in our mind, or, that they have some status that we don't have. I have no idea why we do that. But I've always had a problem with this. So I'm not a fan. There are people that I appreciate and certainly recognize their art, and I enjoy seeing them in movies or dancing or singing or whatever it is that they bring to the table for their craft. I recognize that and I honor that and I appreciate that skill. But them as a person, child, no, you ain't gonna have me standing out line at 1 o'clock in the morning waiting on some tickets to go see a person. No, thank you. Anyway, so when I first saw this whole, Jada Will thing, or I shouldn't even say Jada Will thing, August and Jada thing, of course, I saw the interview with Angela Yee. I heard August give his side of the story, which actually that whole interview was like more than an hour long. And that was a small section of what he said. But that's the section that people really grasp hold to. I heard a lot of pain in that young brother's tone and demeanor that has to do with his sister that he lost. I'm assuming from cancer or from illness, and a brother that he lost. I'm not quite sure how he passed away. These nieces that he's involved with, his tumultuous and difficult relationship that he's had with his mother all these years, and men with mommy issues. Child is a whole different ball of wax. Trust me when I tell you this. Anyway, so I listened to his interview and I just heard a lot of pain. I also heard a lot of patterned speech. I'll just put it that way. It put me in the mind of like a Marianne Williamson. And if you don't know who she is, you should go and listen to her. It's very reminiscent of Unification, Church of Today, just that type of speech. And everybody knows where he got that from, but I'm just not going to connect that dot for you. Anyway, so I heard his story and thought, okay, I was not in the camp of he should have shut his mouth. I've heard some men refer him to him as a B. He shouldn't have come out and said anything. You don't get to tell somebody when they tell their story. You don't get to tell somebody how they tell their story. You can't predict how someone is going to react, especially when they're sitting in pain and heartache and trying to figure that all out. So him telling his truth, or, his truth from his perspective, was his right. You may not like how that came out. You may not like the way that he did it or the means in which he did it. But you can't expect for somebody to just operate in pain or sadness or what have you, and just you go on with your life and yippee skippy, and they're just supposed to sit there and deal with it and pray or whatever it is that you think that they're supposed to do. Like, that's ludicrous. August had every right to tell his truth. Like it or love it, he told his truth. So I listened to his interview. Then, I, of course, listened to the Red Table Talk. I was less impressed. I mean, I listened to it. I heard what she said. I understood it from the vantage point of being an unhappy wife in an unhappy marriage. Been there, done that. I understood depression. I understood just feeling unfulfilled and not, feeling pretty or whatever it is. But it goes deeper than that. So I understood it from that vantage point. And after I listened to it, I was like, okay. And I really didn't care anymore. I really didn't. I did not. And I've had some very terse exchanges with people who have been very invested in this for whatever reason. And I can't figure out why. I still can't figure out why they're so invested in it, but here's my commentary. Today I went on my walk, and it was in my playlist for whatever reason for my YouTube channel. So instead of turning it off, I went on ahead and played it. And so today was a different processing of the information, and it bothered me. Not the processing of the information, but today's table talk, when I heard it in a different way, bothered me. And this is why. First of all, let me make sure that I say that this was Jada's truth to tell, her way. And I don't take anything away from that. I think that she has the right to tell her truth, just like August told her his. But this was the problem that I had as I listened a little bit more attentively. Jada has her own issues. She's admitted to those issues. I know a lot of times people look at, the polished individual. Jada is gorgeous. She has money that some of us will, us is me, never ever see in a lifetime at her disposal today. She's married to one of the most powerful men on earth as far as his social media presence and his ability to command a room and attention. And they're a beautiful couple. So seemingly she has it all. Clearly she does not. And I understand that. Because again, been there, done that. Not because I had it all, but because I didn't. And people thought that I did. I don't know if I'm going to edit that out. I may or may not. Excuse me, though. As Jada started to speak about her relationship with August, it became very narcissistic and myopic in tone and conversation. And this is what I mean. First of all, she said that she did not consider it a transgression. Definition of transgression is a sin or a wrongdoing. So she didn't see it as that. That relationship gave her healing, gave her insight into her behavior, showed her where she was immature, gave her what she was missing. Her. At no time did she ever mention what August may or may not have gotten from that relationship, nor did she show any remorse for the condition in which she left August. See, if you can't leave a person in better condition than what you found them, you're damaging them. And you have no right to do that. Absolutely none. If August was not also healed and better off and discovering his deficiencies and getting those all shored up by virtue of being with her, then she fully took advantage of that relationship. She fully took advantage of him because it was all about what she could get out of it, because it was about her and making her feel good, not about what August needed. Now, truth be told, I don't know what the arrangements were of the relationship. Maybe the arrangement was only for her to feel good. Highly doubt it, though. And if that's the case, then I stand corrected. But when I hear things like that, that immediately gives me a red flag because it intimates that you don't care about this person. You don't care about the damage and the destruction that you left behind with this. You don't care about the emotional state that you left someone in and how they had to scramble to put themselves together. August said that this relationship almost killed him, or this breakup almost killed him. I have no reason to doubt that or to disbelieve it. And the reason that I have no reason to doubt or to disbelieve it is because all of us have been there where we've cried in our pillows and, really bemoaned what happened to the relationship. My last relationship put me in therapy, and I've said that on several occasions. I'm not proud of that. I was broken, like literally broken. And to this day, I still struggle. That young man is never going to be right. Never. You know why? Because there's a part of him that's still connected to her. And that part will always wonder what happened. I don't care what people say. All that healing and you got to move on. And he can move on. He probably will and probably has. But there's always going to be a part that's connected to her trying to figure out what went wrong and what happened. And that's the part that's always going to be the scab. And it's always going to be a sore attached to it. And if she did that knowingly and willfully and walked away and did not give that boy closure, did not give him understanding, did not give him any kind of parameters, she's at fault for that. She really is. And that's a disgusting way to behave and operate because it was only about her and what she walked away with. And she's, oh, I'm such a better person. Is he? Is he a better person for that relationship? He sounds like it. He sounds very red table-ish. But is he really better off? Is he really functioning at the highest level of himself? Is he really whole and healed? Because that's the pretense that she gave for even being around him in the first place, because he needed so much healing. Did that even occur? Or did she leave him in a worse state than which she found him? And if she did that, then she owes him an apology, not us. Like, I could really live my whole entire life and not hear not one more thing about these entanglements or these people. And really, this goes broader than them. I think that if two hurting people get together, that's one thing. But there are certain vantage points that you have, and all hurt is not equal. And at some point, someone has to be able to recognize, I'm really not the best person to be in this entanglement with you because I will hurt you. And I will not be the best person for you in this situation. That takes a considerable amount of, number one, self-introspection, self-awareness, and maturity to be able to do that. And the other person may not understand that that's what you're doing, but you have to be able to articulate that and say, you know, I'm going to leave you worse than what you are now because what it is that you want and what it is that you deserve, I'm incapable of giving that to you. I'll walk away fine, but you won't. People aren't doing that. And Jada didn't do that. And that's where I have the problem. And I think that that's where I've started to process. We give so many passes for women when they are toxic and they do things like this. And I think that that's wrong. And I think that anybody that's in a state of vulnerability that has told you where their vulnerabilities are, because I know August was pillow talking, because he talked so much on doggone Angela Yee's show. Excuse me, I can't talk. He told Angela everything. That's why the doggone interview was over an hour. That boy was talking. Do you hear me? Ain't nowhere in the world he got up in Jada's everything and did not talk. So she knew the areas of opportunity. She knew where he was vulnerable. She knew where he was deficit. She knew where he did not have the experience. If for no other reason than age. She was in her 40s. He was in his 20s. She had twice as much life experience as he did. So she knew this boy was not in an emotional place to even start this mess with her. This is not a case of Mr. Goodbar and Mrs. Robinson. Although, if I recall correctly, she jacked him up too, but that's beside the point. This is not a storybook romance or a fairy tale. That boy needs to be in some intensive, long-term counseling. He really does. It's somebody's son. That boy is broken. He's trying to heal and he's trying to pretend like he is healing. But his healing is only going to go so far. And I don't know him. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn. I just know what I hear when I listen to him and when I read his tweets. Anyway, I'm Felisa. Let me know what you think down below. You know, I want to refrain from calling names or, you know, using terms like predator. I don't think that Jada is a predator. I don't think that I would use that term. Manipulator, yes. She took advantage of a situation that was not entirely right. And she alone benefited from that. whatever gains August thinks that he got is very, very little. Anyway, I'm Felisa. Let me know what you think, and I will talk to y'all later on. Bye.